Bangkok smells like rain, and jasmine, and something frying in oil you can't quite name. I remember standing at the edge of Khao San Road at 7 in the morning, backpack on, beanie pulled low, and thinking, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. The city was still half asleep. Monks in saffron robes moved silently along the sidewalk. A woman sold marigold garlands from a cart, her hands moving so fast they blurred. Somewhere behind me, a radio played a song I didn't know, in a language I didn't speak, and it was beautiful. I pulled out my camera. I do this everywhere I go. One photo first thing, to remember what arrival feels like before you get used to it. I looked at the screen. The photo was perfect. The road, the monks, the cart, the marigolds, and in the far left corner of the frame, almost out of shot, almost not there at all, a figure, standing completely still, with a face that wasn't dark, wasn't shadowed, glowing. I told myself it was the light. Bangkok mornings do strange things with reflection, neon on wet pavement, gold leaf on temple walls catching sunrise. I had read about it in my guidebook. Speaking of which, I took the book out of my side pocket. It was old. I had found it at a market stall in my last city, tucked between broken watches and old postcards. The vendor didn't speak English and I didn't speak Thai, so I just pointed and paid and left. The cover had no title, only a faint symbol, something like a compass, something like an eye. When I opened it, the pages glowed. Not like a screen, more like bioluminescence, like something that had light inside it rather than on it. The map on the first page showed Bangkok, and my route for the day was already drawn. The route took me to Wat Arun first, the Temple of Dawn. I had seen photographs of it, the mosaic spires rising from the riverbank, the whole structure dusted and broken porcelain, the color of the morning sky. I took 3 photos from the ferry. In the first one, the figure was there, far back on the opposite bank, facing me. In the second, they were closer, still facing me, still glowing. In the third, they were gone. I scrolled back through the images, once, twice. I told myself, long exposure, light leak, screen glare, my eyes were doing what tired eyes do. I put the camera away and kept walking. The guidebook's route was specific, not just Wat Arun, it had times. 8:14, the ferry. 9:30, the alley behind the flower market. 11 o'clock, a street I couldn't find on any other map, labeled only with the small symbol that looked like a closed eye. I'd followed routes like this before. The book was always right. It always found me the exact moment, the light through a paper lantern, the cat sleeping on a temple step, the perfect, ordinary, beautiful thing that made you feel like the world was good. So I followed it. At 9:30, I turned into the alley behind the flower market. The smell hit me first, sickly sweet. Too many flowers in too small a space. I raised my camera. In the photo, the figure was there. Not far away this time, 3 feet behind me. I turned around. The alley was empty. Just flowers and heat and the sound of the city happening somewhere else. I stood there for a long time. Then I opened the guidebook. The map had changed. The route I was supposed to follow, the clean, curved line leading me through Bangkok's morning was gone, replaced by something new. Darker lines, sharper angles, leading somewhere that seemed to point directly down, into the ground, beneath the city. The closed eye symbol was gone too. Now it was open. I kept taking photos. I don't know why. Instinct, maybe. Every single one. The figure, at the Grand Palace near the East Gate, standing in the shadow of a gold chetty, but not in shadow, glowing. At the floating market, behind a woman selling papaya. At a convenience store I stopped for water, visible through the glass, on the street, watching the door. The face was never clear. It was more like the face was refusing to be seen, like something that existed in the space between looking and knowing. The people around me started to feel wrong, not threatening, just wrong. Too quiet for Bangkok. A table of tourists laughing outside a cafe, but the sound arrived half a second after their mouths moved. A child feeding pigeons, but the pigeons didn't move. A man reading a newspaper at a bus stop, and I walked past and looked back, and he was still reading the same page. I sat down near a canal. I opened the guidebook. The pages that used to show restaurants and temples were blank now, white and clean and warm with their faint internal glow. Except the last page. On the last page was a photograph. Not a drawing, a photograph of me, standing in the alley behind the flower market, taken from behind, and over my left shoulder, the figure, close, so close, and in this image, for the first time, almost a face. I closed the book. My hands were shaking. I thought about going to my hotel. I thought about throwing the book into the canal, but I didn't, because on the step beside me, written in the condensation of my water bottle, in letters I had not written, "You already know." I went back to every photo, all of them, and I did what I should have done at the beginning. I zoomed in on the face. The glow was not on the figure. The glow was coming from the figure. The same glow as the book, warm, amber, cold at the edges. And when I zoomed in as far as the image would go, to the last possible layer of digital information, the face resolved. Just for a moment, but enough. I knew that face. Not from Bangkok, from older photos, from a box in the back of a wardrobe in a house I grew up in. From a face in a frame I had looked at my whole life without ever truly looking. Someone who had loved to travel, someone who had carried a book with them everywhere, someone who had gone on a trip once and not come back. The book fell open in my lap. The photograph on the last page had changed. I was no longer alone in it. The figure was beside me, and they were not looking at the camera. They were looking at me. And I understood then. They hadn't been following me. They had been leading me. Every photo, every location, every route the book drew in its warm and terrible light. Not to a place, to a moment. This one. I haven't looked behind me yet. I know, the way you know something in a dream before it happens, that if I turn around, the figure will be there, real, present, close enough to touch, and I will see the face clearly. And I don't know what happens after that. The book is still glowing in my lap. A new page has appeared. A new city, a new route, a new red line drawn in light, leading somewhere I have never been. At the top of the page, in small, clean letters, is a date. Tomorrow. I should close the book. I should go home. But here's the thing about a glowing map in a dark city. It's the only thing you can see. And I am still looking at it.